So, first game of the tournament, Republic and Kremlin from ARYA, Montana and Thunderer from KIKI. Very different choice of battleships there. And actually, a lot of this is different. KIKI have gone heavy on the radar. Two Stalingrads and Moscow. They've also got Hindenburg for Hydra support as well. Gearing and Z-52 as destroyers. ARYA have gone a bit more aggressive. Shimikaze for torpedoes, Kleber for the speed, and a solid selection of cruisers. Interesting, they are taking a Venezia on their lineup. So we'll see how that plays out. They've gone a little lighter on the radar, if anything, but they have got a US radar set. Remember, the US radar set's shorter range, but they are much longer duration. So let's roll out and see where we go. Alpadin, Jahansap, and MNR 78 heading off towards point C from ARYA. They've got the Stalingrad of Babi 81 backing them up. Troffman looks to be getting underway as well, but he is potentially going to cut up Silent Hunter 20 in the Kremlin. I wonder if, Silent Hunter's turning port as well. I wonder if that is going to leave the remaining elements over here. Shaheen Falcon, Alayazar Tiger, and Adun Tori just fighting a delaying action at A and B. Meanwhile, KIKI, they've got Hetchkov moving out towards point B. Remember, moving into point B early is often regarded as suicide from the point of view that it's easy to get into B, but very easy to get shot up in it as well. They have the Hindenburg of Black Catty steaming out more or less on his or possibly her own. Maybe just looking to harass and deny C there. Hindenburg was very, very tough if she's properly angled, and quite capable of disrupting a cap provider gets spoiled. So I think we're going to see Hetchkov and Black Catty trying to fight a delaying action in C. Although they have got the Stalingrad of Yudachi DD. There's something wrong there, and I can't put my finger on it quite. But rolling out in the Stalingrad as well, and Montana Julia Ray is moving up as well. So they have got a bit more backbone there than the initial shakeout suggested. Berserk Boxer there moving into a blocking position. Remember, Moscow has a 12k radar set. From there, he can sweep both point B and a good chunk of point A in particular. If I've got my range estimates right, Adon Tori's initial foray into the control point, and yep, Tori is playing it safe, but he's skirting around the edge of point A rather than tiptoeing into it and possibly baiting out Berserk Boxer's radar. Although at this range, he's a good 12.5. He is just out of Berserk Boxer's radar sweep. He could duck in if he tried, and yeah, I think he is going to do it there. Okay, so reverse from Adon Tori. You're going to see this technique a lot in King of the Sea, by the way. Ships, in particular destroyers, will reverse into a control point. That way, if worse comes to worse and they do get caught by a radar sweep or a sudden and unexpected enemy destroyer, they can just stand on the accelerator and get straight out of the cap without having to turn. So, cap starts in point A. Adon Tori will probably get a radar sweep there, although he is safe out of range. So, Antide fires his radar instead, and we have a counter radar coming off Alpadin as well. Reaper 5439 does his best, and we have shots fired, and Tori got a little too close to one of the destroyers. Antheld there just edging into range, and Adon not panicking immediately. He's reversed up a bit, dodges the second salvo, now plugs in his engine boost. Thunderer finds the range, and Antide is right behind. Tori aborts his cap and pegs it for the exit. He now knows, of course, that Anteld has fired his radar, and it will be on cooldown bit. Breaks contact, gets out of the line of fire, and with Anteld similarly exposed by firing his guns, he starts taking focus fire from the Hindenburg and the Venezia. Of course, Alayazar Tiger blows his concealment in the process, and we see a general exchange of fire starting to break up a little there. Anteld, of course, is bow in, so not a great target for AP, but interesting that Alayazar and Shaheen are not focusing their fire. Shaheen may be reckoning that he doesn't have the angle to safely engage Anteld without throwing out a massive amount of broadside and inviting a paddling, so he's engaging the Honoree instead. Meanwhile, sneaky. Look at Reaper. He is coming up the flank. He's going through the channel in between A and B. That is a novel move there. Torpedoes running, and the Moskva of Beerzetboxe gets his own radar sweep up. I think, yep, he is going to have remarked Aiden Tori in the process. So the Shimikaze once again gets forced out of point A, takes a moderate damage, but in the process, are those Z-52 torpedoes going to get him? Nope. Aiden bolts right across the track of the Z-52's torpedoes. That could have been very nasty for him. Of course, Reaper has now given away his presence here. Aiden Tori can count, even when he's got shells whizzing around his ears. And, well, he knows that the Gearing has got quintuple launchers, the Z-52's got quads. He now knows exactly where that destroyer's got to be. But over on point C, First Blood, Silent Hunter 20, taking his Kremlin down the forbidden line, has just caught and killed the Gearing of Hektov. So, interesting development there. And in fact, ARYA are in general pushing down the tank order. There's actually a very specific warning that you're not meant to do this on this map. There is, or at least there was, the infamous no battleships permitted sign, but we have a 910 scrap developing anyway, and thus far ARYA appear to be getting the advantage here. MNR and Alpadina are volleying high explosive into Julia, and it looks like they've got at least one, possibly two fires permanently burning, and the Hindenburg of Black Cutty is doing his best to return fire. Yudachi fires up the radar. Still think that's wrong, but there you go. However, he's got guns engaging, and he will have marked Alpadin's position. They probably knew that Demoy was there anyway. When you've got auto-loading 8-inch salvos coming at you, it's kind of hard to miss. However, he has successfully verified the Kleber's position as well, and Johannesap takes an immediate series of punches and is forced to bolt for cover with shells running around here. So any thoughts of a high-speed Kleber torpedo murder have just been quietly squashed. However, he did get the torpedoes away, but the Kleber's torpedoes are only good out to about 8 kilometers. So I think Yudachi will probably clear the range, but he is still in the track. Oh boy, turning. Has he got the torpedo beats? Doesn't matter, but the torpedoes didn't have the range. And while that's going on, KIKI are having a bit more luck over it. Hey, we're starting to see the teams pivot round to the clockwise directions. So, pushing forwards, Beerzet still tucked behind cover, providing radar blocking. Still intact, I might add. And Reaper's taken a few scratches from fighting. But I think Reaper is hard to ground. I don't think he's going to be able to pull out of that easily. And he is spotted by the Shimikaze of Aiden Tori. So Aiden closing back in. Reaper is desperately trying to wiggle himself off the rocks. Hard starboard rudder, full reverse. Hard port rudder, full forwards. And he gets moving just in time as a salvo of hull crackers SAP comes in from the Venezian high explosive from the Hindenburg. And he just squeaks away, picks up the Shimikaze's torpedoes on hydroacoustic search, and should successfully break contact. Yep, the Hindenburg lost its lockets just flying down the last known bearing. And with the Hydro, Reaper easily finds that gap in the torpedo salvo, makes a port turn to secure, and stands on the brakes just to let the torpedoes go past. And Tori there slipping out of his own smoke. Of course, smoke screens attract torpedoes, so Aiden very sensibly didn't stay in his smoke. He carried on, turned back, and did a 180, so he was still getting the protection from the smoke, but wasn't in a position to eat any fish today. One capture point apiece. We are halfway into the game, 11 minutes, and Black Catty goes down. The Republic of Chofwan hammers him into the ground, and in fact, yeah, looking at the angles, Chofwan unfortunately caught him in a bit of a vice, and by the looks of it, caught him flat broadside. So Silent Hunter 20 now starting to push forward just a little. Remember, he has got the Montana of Julia Race. So if at this point the ARYA team try to turn starboard and push in to close the vice on KIKI, they are going to find Julia's 12, 16-inch guns on their flank, and that will get very messy. So with Julia where he or possibly she is, that breaks their flanking attack. They have got to deal with Julia before they can actually take on the southern flank and complete the pivot. Point B, of course, still a dead zone. Meanwhile, in point A, I'm missing all of the explosions. This is intolerable camera work from me. So, Shaheen Falcon trying to push into point A. Torpedoes running from the Z-52 as a little, perhaps you shouldn't be sailing there message. And he's finally got Birzut Boxer pinned. Birzut, of course, is bow on. Passenger torpedoes running. Remember, the Italian torpedoes are slow, but they pack a lot. But one of them just collided with the island. So even if Birzut was tunneled up, he would be in a position to avoid that. And Shaheen is now being forced broadside. Yadachi goes down off screen. And Shaheen manages to force into point A, but he's going to take a significant beating from the Mossad. He turns bow in. Of course, that does leave the Z-52 on his flank. Birzut will most likely load high explosive for this, and yep, there we go. There's the high X. So the Venezia is now on fire as well. Damage control from Shaheen to contain the fire. I'm not sure Birzut's got a damcon available at the moment, and he's got the Hindenburg as well. Doesn't need, however, Hindenburg. Sorry, the Venezia showed a bit too much side. Birzut had the AP ready to go. Citadels into oblivion, and suddenly it's just ARYA in the way. However, Birzut's maybe getting a bit overambitious here. He pushes forward just a little. Remember, the Hindenburg has torpedoes. And I think Birzut's about to get a rather unpleasant reminder of that fact. Tracking, and one in the side. High explosive from the Hindenburg, looking for the quick kill to finish him. 121, and Birzut burns down. It's very easy to forget that German cruisers do have torpedoes, even if they are rather short-ranged. Let's take a quick look over at sea, where, yep, as expected, ARYA have found their progress temporarily stalled by Julia Ray, but it's only going to be temporary. Julia there is now fighting 3-on-1. Even the Shimikaze is getting its guns into the action, looking for a quick disposition here, just so they can swing around, turn the flank, and put KIKI into the ground. And, yeah, this is basically the last rites. 1300, fires in the go, and it's the Republique that gets the death blow once again. So, southeastern flank has basically collapsed. ARYA are now in a position to begin turning around, mopping up. They've got ARYA Tiger trying to cap point A, although I don't think he's going to survive. He definitely isn't going to survive if he eats torpedoes like that. What looked like 2 hits from the Z-52 suddenly smack him down to 6,000, 7,000 health. He's got a repair going. I think he's had damage control to stop the flooding from the Z-52's torpedoes. Anti-Held at this point is going to be looking to close in, and Reaper might even begin deploying guns as well, just hunting for that fire. Might do. He's actually put a second spread of torpedoes in. Anti-Held is on fire. Support coming in from off-screen. I think that's the Des Moines trying to get some flanking shots in on the Stalingrad. ARYA bow in. Anti-Held should switch to high explosive now as he starts dealing with a bow on target. He's closing in, going for the secondaries as well, just looking for anything to get a quick kill. Angles against the Des Moines at 8-inch armor piercing. There go the guns of the Z-52. Torpedoes are closing as well. ARYA is right in the kill box. Boom, boom, boom. 3, and, well, 2 of those were overkill. There is now no ARYA ship in point A. So Alperdin at this point could potentially clinch it for ARYA. He's turned out, but we'll see him go into reverse. Again, classic King of the Sea cap. Although you don't normally see it from a Des Moines, I'll give it that. But he backs in, and if he muzzles his guns for a bit, he can probably go silent. Des Moines stealths down to around about 11 kilometers, give or take, so he can quietly cap point B. Anti-Held and Reaper are sprinting in to do what they can. Score is 506 to 310 in ARYA's favor. They are a good 70,000 health up, but critically, it's relatively evenly spread. Their worst ship is currently the Kleber of Johannesburg, but Antiheld's in very bad shape, and so is Reaper. Neither of them can afford a prolonged gunnery duel over on the KIKI side. So let's see. Radar sweep from Antiheld. The Stalingrad's radar coming in. Alpedin immediately reacts, taking the spotting off his Kleber, but his own cover is blown. He is accelerating forwards. Not in time, though. He did manage to cap B. Babi gets the shot in. The Stalingrad of ARYA putting down the Stalingrad of my apologies, KIKI. So, very definitely going in ARYA's favour at the moment. They are 2 caps to 1 up. They are more than 300 points up, rapidly approaching 350. 4 minutes 45 until they score out. 4:38 left on the match timer. At this point, KIKI have basically got to start killing, and they have got to start killing very, very effectively. They are down to 3 ships. Reaper 5439 in the Z52, dropping smoke there, although it's really only going to cover himself. Johannesburg in the Kleber, however, does get caught. Rapid salvos coming out from the Z52, and the Kleber is, how you say, sunk. But he got his torpedoes away. Did Reaper have his hydro running? Possibly. Either way, he's not hanging around to find out. Forward motion there, and ducks away from the Kleber's last gasp. Oh, wait a second. Hard starboard turn, trying to evade. Okay, no, he didn't overcook the turn and blunder back into the torpedoes. He's just looking for a quick out, possibly as a result of the fact that there's a Stalingrad at less than 12,000 meters, and you know that means a radar. So, Babi 81 now has his turn in the fire. At this point, it could basically come down to how well Medvedeva can shoot. Remember, Thunderer has 18-inch guns, so he can plow through the bows of both the Moskva and the Stalingrad. But if ARYA are able to keep their grouping together and engage all at once rather than one time, if they can focus their fire onto the Thunderer, they can knock it down fairly quickly, and then it's a mopping up action on both Reaper and Shotgun. So let's see how they play this. Babi, by the looks of it, content to just stop and keep something relatively solid between himself and the Thunderer's 18-inch guns. Radar sweep from MNR, who is taking fire from Dr. Medvedeva, and solid chunk out of the Thunderer's flank there. So he'll be looking for a shot. And we're seeing split fire here. Admittedly, I don't think Shotgun actually has the ability to hit MNR 78. High explosive rolling out. He's going for the Kremlin. Looking for some quick damage there. Silent Hunter 20 immediately pops up on his damage control and stops that single fire. And the stream says PG rated, thankfully. But Medvedeva taking a serious hit now that Thunderer's heavy artillery is coming up. And while he has bow-on, that is not going to stop ARYA just busting out the high explosive and trying to burn him down to the waterline. Alpedin comes round on the flank, further making life miserable. He is so close that the Des Moines 8-inch AP can punch right through the upper belt and finish off the Thunderer. This is starting to look very much like game to ARYA, isn't it? So, last gasp, really. Shotgun 990 doing his best to close it in. 8:44, minute and a half left of the game. Fair play to KIKI. They virtually went the distance here. That's rare to see in a qualifier. But Shotgun tries to turn out to angle against the Moine, exposes himself to the Kremlin and the Moskva in the process and takes some solid hits. Pops his repair party, but Alpedin is showing no mercy there with the auto-loading 8-inch guns. Has the high explosive on and immediately starts trying to light up Shotgun. But it's the Kremlin that puts him down. 18-inch against cruiser armor tends not to care what your angling is. Which just leaves Reaper. A couple of torpedo salvos going in, more, I suspect, for pride than anything else. In 40 seconds, it isn't going to matter anyway. Weapons are tracking, but nothing there. Baba fires radar for the last time, picks up the Z52, almost immediately starts throwing high explosive. Solid hits there. and it's just the one hit from the Moskva that finally puts him down. So ARYA, the winners of that engagement. Congratulations them. They take an early lead, and of course this now leaves KIKI needing to pull things back. But it's just the first game of the tournament. Still a long way to go even today.